Hello, welcome back to another episode of the FTR podcast. Obviously, myself and Giorgio yet again.
Yes.
The dynamic little duo we've got going
Dynamic duo, I like that. I was thinking about what could we call ourselves, dynamic duo?
It's a very, normal... It's not individualistic.
No, I know. I'm sorry.
English
is not my first language.
Exactly.
It's the excuse.
That's why I was letting you know, a lot of people do say dynamic duo. I've said it many times.
What was the adjective that you used last episode? Electric. Was it?
It might have been. I used a lot of adjectives.
Adjectives.
Yeah. So obviously we'll cover this week's matches. There's a lot which has happened. I'm sure if you've watched any of the football, you know it's kind of kicked off. Everything's upside down. Everything's going off. It was crazy.
Oh, yes. But before we start, make sure to like the video, subscribe. It will help us a lot and will help you.
Notifications on, please.
Yes.
Just so you know when we upload, because that's important, I'm sure, for you, because if you're back again, I'm sure you're enjoying it.
Exactly. But let's start with the first match, which, unfortunately, is Newcastle Arsenal.
Yep.
So
Arsenal played away at St James's Park. Obviously, I watched the entirety of the match. Pretty much, the one positive which I will say is, referee, thank you. Thank you for not being like the other referees. Thank you for this loss just being on us. Thank you genuinely so much. Because this week, I feel so much less bad about this loss than the other loss which we had with the red card, or any of the draws we've had because of the red cards or something like that. So thank you so much, ref. He wasn't getting involved with the match too much. He was letting it play. He was calling out fouls. He was fairly non-biased, I'd say. Not that the other ones were super biased or anything, but he did a very good job. So very big thank you to the ref for not ruining the match or anything like that. However, I wouldn't mind him ruining it for Newcastle in this match. No, I'm joking. I don't want him getting involved. But up until that goal, Arsenal were dominant. We were pushing, and it took that one stroke of beautiful whip in from Gordon and great finish from Isak. And then it just felt like we were just like, well, what do we do now?
Yeah, it was just that one off, and then nothing else has happened. Which, I mean,
it took the sting out of the match.
We said it in the past because of all the injuries that have happened to Arsenal, but it's struggling a little too much now.
Well, the way I look at it is we've been patching up for injuries, and there's only so long you can do that for.
Yeah, but now Odegaard is back, which
he's hopefully we'll see.
He's back into training, but probably I'll give him 2 matches.
Well, until the other end of the international break, I think he should be starting.
Yeah. What's international break?
This week, after this week.
Oh, okay.
So
hopefully he doesn't play for Norway, not going to lie.
He won't.
Okay, good.
If he does, I'll literally bomb the Norwegian FA. This is a threat, Norwegian FA.
If you're watching this,
I will find you, and I will bomb you if you take Martin Odegaard again. Now, obviously all jokes, but I don't know, the way I look at it is, with Odegaard back, we'll be able to have a bit more sting and we'll be able to play how we want to play. However, I do think a lot of those players are a bit knackered and they're having to play out of position. Thomas Partey, for example, which, yet again, I'm sorry, Mikel Merino, question marks over his head.
He scored 1 goal last week.
I know.
And that was it.
I know. That goal
can you
patched
rely
up,
on him?
The goal patched up a poor performance, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Okay. What he does, which is very frustrating for me, which I'll explain why it's a bit different to what other players do, is what you want number 8 to do is drive up the pitch. He'll just sit up towards the top end, and he won't drive the ball. He'll just try and pass it off instead. We need someone to drive with that ball, and he won't do it.
It's not Spain anymore. It's not tiki-taka, mate.
Exactly. When Thomas Partey was in the midfield, you saw Declan Rice doing it. You could see that happening. You were there like, oh, nice, I like this.
But I think he's still getting used to it, coming from a completely different league and,
yeah, I mean,
to a different team. And he's been injured. This is only his 3rd match that he plays with Arsenal.
I think it might be 4th.
Something like that.
So don't get me wrong, he still needs time. But considering we're in such a considering we are a team which should be in a title race and should be challenging, should be, in my opinion, we should be favourites with the team we have from last season. I understand injuries derails that a little bit. I'm not saying we are favourites. I'm not saying that, but
that's a completely different.
100%. But realistically, with bringing him in, he should be here. He should be elevating the team, and I don't see him doing that. I see him able to fill in numbers because we need somebody in that number 8 role because we don't have anyone else who can play there unless we put Havertz there. But it's a bit frustrating, to say the least, in my opinion. Like, I just look at it and I think he's frustrating me. But the other player for Arsenal who really, really annoyed me this match, Zinchenko. That man, I'm sorry, I just don't want him to play for the club.
Okay. I'm of the same opinion. He's just doing nothing. Timber and his instead is way better.
Yeah, we're having to sub people off because maintaining injuries, people are just coming back and stuff. And I understand Zinchenko was definitely like good in that first season, especially with the way we played. But now I feel like
he's
selfish.
Not on the ball. That's a good way to describe it.
He demands the ball so much, and he just fannies about with it. Like, genuinely, I remember it was like 78th minute. He gets the ball and he's just walking with it. And then I'm like, we're 1-0 down, pal. Like, I understand sometimes like passing it side to side to try and wait for an opening or something.
He's just doing nothing.
But
He's just
it's
lazy.
several times he just sits with it and it's just like, no, I need you to do something here. And then there's that time he got caught on the ball and they almost scored to make it 2. I'm sorry, mate. The one thing he's meant to be good at is technical ability. His technical ability isn't even that good at the moment. So for me, I just think Zinchenko was really, really poor, and he frustrated me very much so.
No, but I think as well, looking at Newcastle, they have been struggling as well, and it was a good victory for them to kind of like give them a little bit of vitality, which is not good that they won against Arsenal, but still.
The way I look at it is, for Newcastle...
You think that they still can get a 4th place?
Oh, yeah.
But... You know, like that's
it's
what
a race.
saying.
It's
like,
going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for them because of the other teams in and around there.
And that's an important win for them. That's what I'm saying.
It's important 3 points. Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you look at Newcastle, they've had injuries, they've had people coming back, but the big thing for me in this match, which was a point of massive praise for Newcastle, but also a point of frustration for Arsenal fans, were their fullbacks were phenomenal. Saka didn't get a sniff, and they were doubling up on him, but it was always the fullback beating him. I don't know why the second guy was even there. He was just there for vibes. You know what I mean? And Martinelli, again, if you watch
we don't
football,
talk about Martinelli.
His touches were poor. Everything was poor. And the fullback, honestly, if I'm a fullback going up against him now, and I'm a decent fullback, I'm there like, all right, sound. I've got a good day. I'm eating.
Yeah.
But that leads to an issue for me. We're not through the middle at all at the moment. It's only one side or the other.
Yeah, and that's why it's going to be vital when Odegaard comes back. So
you
have all those 3 lines that can play together and mix and match. You know, like.
But with Declan Rice out, we still have Mikel Merino. But Mikel Marino's played with Odegaard before. Yeah, so we'll see if he gets the best out of him.
So, yeah. But for this match, who are we going to give our round of applause?
Oh, let me have a look.
Because the man of the match was Hall.
Yeah, I agree completely. Saka, in my opinion, is a world-class player and he's showing it. Look what he did to Andy Robertson last match. Lewis Hall had him on lock. And this isn't because Saka had this terrible match. Obviously, it doesn't look good because he hardly beat his man. But Saka created a couple options. But he was very quiet. And that's not because of Saka. It was because of Hall.
Yeah.
So for me,
let's
phenomenal from Hall. Phenomenal. And obviously, we spent a lot of time talking about sort of Arsenal side of things, but I would just like to say Newcastle did a phenomenal job. They came there, they did exactly what they needed to do, and just wait for their moment, take it, especially because of the form which they're in, like not the greatest, but by no means the worst. And then once they took it, they just said, nah, screw you guys, and just turned up the intensity to another level.
Yeah.
And because we're in a shaky period too, it was too difficult. But well done, Newcastle. Very good from them. On to the next match. Now, I was very sad, very upset, because obviously Arsenal had lost. I had my phone on Do Not Disturb. I was just chilling, because obviously all the 3 o'clock kickoffs were happening. I didn't want to see anything. Then at around half time, I went on my phone, just scrolling. I saw a post saying both Man City and Liverpool were 1-0 down. I'll tell you what, I perked up like a schoolboy in a girl's changing room. Do you know what I mean?
Whoa.
Exactly. I was ready. I was rearing to go. And next match we're on.
Yeah,
Man
let's talk
City,
about
Bournemouth.
Man City. Once again, Semenyo with a goal in the first.
And can I just say, boyhood Arsenal supporter, thank you very much.
He's
coming in clutch, man.
This guy, like, it's his like 5th, 6th match, and he just goes there and scores in the first 10 minutes. And it's the end of it for the next.
He's a very good player, which raises to me, which obviously we'll mention later on in the match. Was it more of the system or was it the players when Dom Solanke was scoring all these goals? Obviously, we'll come to that later on. But
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because Dom Solanke, obviously, we're not talking about this week yet, but he hasn't had the greatest of starts, at least in my opinion, compared to the expectations people had.
You're talking about Solanke?
Yeah.
Okay.
Considering he was the Harry Kane replacement. So, Semenyo's
You know that he scored 2 goals?
We're not talking about this week yet, you silly sausage. We go chronologically. But Semenyo's proven that, hey, no Solanke, no problem. Evan Nielsen too, getting a goal, phenomenal. I mean, I got worried so for me, whenever I see Man City down, I need the other team to score 2. Because 1-0 down is standard game for Man City. This season, they've been going down 1-0 a lot. And then they manage to get a goal or 2 goals, and then it's like, okay, it doesn't even matter anyway. Yeah. So the important thing is, it's when you're 1-0 up against City, they're going to sandwich you in and you're going to have no chance basically for like 20 minutes. But when you do get that chance, you have to score. Yeah. If you scored, they're dead in the water. Because they're like, well, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do?
Yeah, and it's very good to see. But at the same time, it's quite concerning to see that Man City is losing matches back to back. Like,
well, as a recording, lost 3 matches in a row.
Yeah, we're recording right after the Champions League match, and they lost 4-1. Like, against Sporting Lisbona, which is like
Lisbona. Did you just say
Lisbona? Yeah, that's
it's Lisbon.
Name. Well, okay, I say in Portuguese it's Lisbona.
Bona.
But it's very concerning about the fact that against a team like that, losing 4-1, it's very unlikely.
Well,
looking at both teams, both qualities of the teams. Well, I mean, and I get Bournemouth as well. Like, you know,
it's one of those you do have to call into question Man City and how they're playing at the moment, because obviously they lost to Spurs,
missing,
but that was the League Cup. You know what I mean? League Cup, you can lose against the Spurs or something like that. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, no.
But then when you go to the Premier League, and Bournemouth have done very well. They've beat Arsenal, they've beat City. So well done to Bournemouth. I think this is showing that Bournemouth's a much better team than people believe, off like the top of their heads.
When was the last time that they won in the Championship? Like, when were they promoted?
I don't know, quite some time ago, I think. A couple seasons, 2-3 years ago.
Probably. But yeah, so what were you saying? Sorry.
But you have to call into questions Man City, and the mentality now is in that match. I think similar to like a Real Madrid in the Champions League last night, because they were down against Milan and they thought they could just get a comeback. Same thing happened. It's not that simple. It's not that easy sometimes. And Bournemouth, they set up perfectly, and they knew exactly what they were going to do, how they were going to do it, why they were going to do it, and they got the result. So, honestly, huge respect to them. So, well done, Bournemouth. But Man City, there is huge questions now. And honestly, because of them, Arsenal are still, I would say, well into the title race.
Yeah.
100%. If it wasn't for them, we'd be out of it. Look how many points apart we are.
Well, we're going to talk about Liverpool in a second, but yeah.
Obviously, for me, I'm talking about these two clubs.
We're
like only, Chelsea, 5 points off? Yeah, yes. We're only 5 points off City. We've got to play them again.
7 off Liverpool.
We'll talk about that later, Giorgio. Oh my word, I'm telling him chronologically and he keeps on breaking it. Everyone, drop in the comments rage messages at Giorgio telling him, do not break the chronological order of this podcast,
I'm not
please.
Spoiling anything though, am I?
Yes, you are. What if someone's watching this and they want to get the roundup? They haven't watched any of the matches.
Sorry guys, my bad. Let's go in a chronological order then.
Exactly. Keep on ruining things. Talking about Solanke. Talking about Liverpool. Oh, silly boy.
I'm just excited to talk about these things, you know.
But Man City definitely stumbling block at the moment. And you mentioned, is it because of Rodri? 100% yes. With Rodri, they're not losing that match. It's the same as Arsenal. Arsenal's injuries, you can only keep up for so long, paper over the gaps.
Fair enough. I think that the overall mentality of the players as well has just gone down. It's like they're becoming too cocky. So, like, for example, when they lost against Tottenham, literally the last minute, they were all just laughing because they were losing, even Pep. And I was like, guys, you're losing a match. Yeah, I understand that it's the Carabao Cup or whatever it's called, but
yeah, crap.
I mean, if I was the manager, I would just be upset at
It's still something you should be frustrated about. I know you played a lot of youngsters, so it's not like the end of the world or anything. I would still be somewhat frustrated, but obviously not as much as even this match. Because this match in itself, any loss in the Premier League now can cost you the title with the teams that are challenging for it. So it's huge for them. And who are Man City playing this weekend? Can you check for me, please? Pull it up, Jamie.
Brighton.
That's tough. If they lose back-to-back matches or even don't win, that's huge for them.
Yeah, I reckon it's going to be like a 1-1 or 2-2.
I think it could be a draw, but I think Man City could just come out, smack them around. Man City have done this before when they go through tough spells. They just come out and they're just like, fight back! You know what I mean? Like, that could 100% happen. But I think the key thing for Brighton is, obviously they've had a couple tough matches and everything, but they need to keep their heads up. Similar to how Sporting did. Sporting went 1-0 down. And they were just like, we know what we're doing.
4 goals.
And I mean,
hat trick from
they also showed running in behind, City giving away penalties for fun. They gave away 2 penalties.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I don't know.
behaviour.
I don't know what's going on with them.
So
I think we should have a conversation with Pepe and just like.
If they're quick players, I would suggest even trying to do it similar to Sporting, where they have 3 players all tight in the middle, and then they just try and run in behind. Because if they do that with a likes of Mitoma or someone like that,
yeah. And again, it comes back to not having Rodri there in the middle. They just
100%. He sets the tempo. He sets the standards too. I think Rodri's a real leader in that dressing room. It's like, you know what I mean? You can only have bread out for so long until it gets stale. And that's Man City at the moment. Kovacic, he's been there. He's all right at first. Don't get me wrong.
No, I don't like Kovacic. Even if he played for Inter Milan, I don't like it.
It's one of those, though. He came in and he did the part. He scored a couple of goals, getting him some points. Okay, you know what? He's all right. But it's been out too long now. And you've got your Kovacic coming in. You've got other people coming in. They can't fill that gap.
Yeah.
And that's no disrespect to Kovacic, because obviously he was phenomenal. He's still a decent player, don't get me wrong. But there's a huge drop-off between Rodri and him. It's like asking your mum to buy a Lamborghini and she buys you a little toy car instead. That's not what I meant, Mum.
Hot Wheels.
Exactly.
So who are we giving the round of applause?
I think Semenyo. Has to be. Has to be. He's a phenomenal player.
On to the next match.
Liverpool Brighton. I had so much hope.
I think that Liverpool are going to be tough for the title race.
Oh, we have different opinions on this. I think they're doing a phenomenal job at the moment. Obviously, I talk about Arne Slot a lot. I say he's a phenomenal manager because I genuinely think he's a really good manager to doing what he's doing. I don't think so. I think they're keeping it up and they're doing really good at the moment, but you have to understand, for most of the season so far, they've not had the pressure of challenging. Because people have been like, oh, they're not really challenging, they're just going to get top 4. You know what I mean? And now it's starting to be the point where it's like, yeah, they have to be challenging. And we saw this last season. They played really, really well. And they got up to the point and it was just like, oh, we just don't have the players to keep up here.
But look at their form so far. The only match that they have actually had a draw was against Arsenal, and that's it. And then they every
lost.
Single one. No.
They lost against Forest 1-0 at Anfield.
They lost before that. Wait, let me check. Because I think that they lost before that. Yeah. So it was Arsenal, Liverpool.
Yeah, they drew to Arsenal. Right. But if you look up.
Yeah. And that was the only match that they actually lost.
Yeah.
That's it.
So they're doing really good at the moment, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking that away from them. But personally, and I could be wrong, I don't want to be wrong, but I could be, I think there's only so much in them. There's only so much steam, only so much gas. There's only so much in the tank, and it's going to run out of fuel at some point. And I think it's inevitable. And all I want to say is, when that happens, I want it to be called out as they bottled it. Because this always happens with Arsenal. Even last
So
season, when
you're
Liverpool
just giving the
bottled it.
curse to Liverpool,
No,
saying they're gonna bottle it.
because I want it to be even. Arsenal, that first season when we were challenging for the title, we bottled it. Yeah, we did. Second season we didn't. It was the last game of the season. It came down to people saying, "Oh, you bottled it. How did we?" If it comes down to the last game of the season, it's not bottling it.
I don't know. I feel that they can go far and not bottle it, because the way that they've been playing, and you say, "Oh, there's only so much fuel and then they're gonna run out." I don't think they will. I think that they will keep playing. And if they have any signings during the winter, I don't think they will.
They won't.
But if they do, they're not gonna run out.
So
and they're gonna keep smashing it. Because look, all of the games that they've had. Oh, what's happened?
You're on the wrong game.
All of the games that they've had so far have been against quite good teams. They've played Arsenal. They've played West Ham. I mean, West Ham has not played very well. They played Brighton. They've played even in the Champions League, and they played good teams.
Well, it's like, so they played Brighton.
They played Chelsea, and they won against Chelsea.
Yeah, they played Brighton, Arsenal, Chelsea, Palace, which was an easy match. Wolves, easy match. Bournemouth, which is difficult at the moment, but Bournemouth are winning at home, it seems like. So, swings and roundabouts. They lost to Forest. They beat United, obviously. They beat Brentford. They beat Ipswich. So they've only had 3 tough matches.
Well, we'll see what happens, because the next ones that they would necessarily need to play that are considered to be a tough match would be Man City.
Who are Liverpool playing next?
Let's see. I think that they're playing Aston Villa.
Tough match.
So that's going to be a tough match.
So we'll see what happens. I'll be real with you right now. I expect them to win that match.
You expect them to win the match?
Yeah.
Me too.
So it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening. Like, even though I'm saying I think Liverpool drop off steam, I don't think that's going to be now.
It's going to be like after winter. That's what you're saying, right?
I think it'll be to the latter stages, maybe February time. I looked at actually analysed the fixtures of the 3 people in the title race at the moment. Arsenal, which I know some people are saying Arsenal aren't in it. You'll understand why we are in a moment. Liverpool and City. Arsenal have went through their tough period of games already. We've finished it. Man City still have 2 tough periods. Liverpool still have tough periods to go through, and those periods are killer. Like Liverpool have City, Arsenal, they have loads of teams in a row, which if you get through that, well done. If you don't, you're screwed.
Fair enough. But no, yeah.
But the big match is towards the end of the season. There's still Arsenal-Liverpool. I'm pretty sure that's in the latter stage of the season.
So you wouldn't even consider Man City to be a title race?
No, I do.
Okay.
I think it'll be between City and Arsenal.
I thought you said Liverpool and Arsenal.
I think Liverpool are in it as of right now, but I think they'll drop off.
Okay.
But there's a match between Liverpool and Arsenal towards the end of the season.
Don't you think that all the teams should be considered in that race? Like Chelsea, for example. I know Chelsea are above us in the table, but Chelsea have not shown a single thing. The only reason why you would argue that an Arsenal is in there is because we've had those matches, those difficult fixtures. And we've shown in the past that we can challenge for the title. If this was our first season at this level, competing like this, so let's say last season, back to the times when Arteta was getting us 8th place. We went from 8th and then we started doing this. I wouldn't be saying we're challenging for the title. I'd be like, we've got top 4, boys. We're challenging for top 4. That's what I'd be saying. I wouldn't be saying anything like that. Obviously, I'd be so gassed about, at that point in my life, I would have been very excited about the Liverpool result, because draw against Liverpool, we used to get smacked around them. And then also with City, I'd have been happy with those results. But obviously now the standards are different. So that's why we're not the happiest. But to get through that period with the points we have, and with injuries in hand too, because if you ask me, with the Arsenal squad, we don't have loads of injury-prone players. Okay.
So the big thing for me is, as we go on further in time, we'll be up and running smoother. Players will have gelled more. So if anything, we'll start turning into an absolute machine, I think. And we'll start reeling away results.
But yeah, so for this match, who are we giving the round of applause?
I mean, we've already actually talked about the match, to be fair. We just talked about the title race and everything. But
that's true, but I think
Liverpool did a good job with the comeback.
There's not much to talk about, because they just had a comeback in 5 minutes.
Yeah, they were,
welcome to Liverpool.
they were 1-0 down. Anfield definitely helped them out, as it always will. So yeah, well done to them. I mean, I didn't watch the match because it was 3:00 kickoff, and as I mentioned, I was kind of focusing on the City match because I consider them to be more of a serious threat. I'm sorry if Liverpool fans find that disrespectful, but considering City have won it 4 times in a row, I don't think there's much argument there.
Fair enough.
And I'd assume Liverpool fans to say that City are also the serious challengers for them too. So, you know what? I think we just have to give it to the man of the match, which was Trent.
Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah, well done. To be fair, him this season, he's played a lot better.
I'm excited to see him play for England again.
Have you seen, because I saw little clips of him against Mitoma in this match. Last season, Mitoma spun him. Absolutely made him look
and
like
this
a
match
monk.
was...
He had him on lock, which is really good because it's showing that Arne Slot's kind of instilling like some of those defensive capabilities in there. Because if Trent gets those defensive capabilities at a high enough level, and he's got that creative output, wow, Real Madrid will have a real player. No, I'm joking.
They will buy him. That's my opinion. They will buy him.
The rumours are he's going on a free this summer. His contract's running out.
Well, he will move then.
I think he might. I'll be real with you. I think he will.
Yeah.
All right.
Next match, Forest, West Ham. So we live in Derby, right? And all of my family is a Derby supporter.
Yeah, all of his in-laws.
And this is just heartbreaking to see how I thought they were in
You said relegation,
zone.
and now
me
they're
and George as well. George said the same.
Oh,
and now they're third. I mean, well done, guys. But
wow. Honestly,
are they competing for
No.
Europe, a spot in Europe?
We have to wait and see. We've seen teams in the lower half of the table have an early surge before. However, that takes nothing away from Nottingham Forest. They've been superb to win at Anfield. They're turning over teams.
It's just. I don't know. I'm speechless.
And I hear a lot of this garbage, right? Because I hate it about Arsenal's dark arts. Watch how Forest play. Watch how they play. That James Ward-Prowse red card. The other team was breaking on the counter, so he just grabbed the ball. He got sent off. Yeah, but he was like,
those are referees.
He was just there like, I'm getting the result. I don't care. And that's what he's probably told to do. But that's phenomenal. And I think that Forest team, you can tell there's a sense of togetherness. And Chris Wood, he's banking goals in for fun. Who would have thought? Who would have thought when he was at Burnley?
Is he the new Jamie Vardy then?
No chance.
Okay.
No chance. But he's doing well. Well, Jamie Vardy, you'd see on the edge of the box, volley the ball in over the keeper's head. You know what I mean? Against like Liverpool and stuff.
Oh my gosh, that's
the level Jamie Vardy was at. Chris Wood is getting tap-ins. There's no comparison.
Maybe he will be, the next Jamie Vardy.
No. There's no such thing in this day and age. I don't think there's a possibility of someone.
You keep saying this, but there is going to be a point
at some point
that there's going to be the next Jamie Vardy, the next Messi, the next Ronaldo.
No, not Messi. Next Messi.
Yes, there is going to be.
Yeah, Messi's
Messi. There is going to be the next Messi. It's like when Maradona used to play, and everybody was like, "Oh, there's going to be the next Maradona."
No. Think about there's not been a next Maradona. Messi wasn't even the next Maradona; he was just better. But you have to understand,
there's going to be somebody that is going to be
the
better
genetic
than Messi.
Disposition to be Lionel Messi is unreal. The probability of that happening again.
Do you think that it's about genetics or is about just him working hard? I think he worked a bit hard.
Did you hear what David Beckham was saying?
No.
So at Inter Milan, because a lot of people they just say Messi doesn't work hard. It's all about Ronaldo when it comes to hard work.
It's a bunch of bollocks.
At Inter Milan, first day of training, you know what time Messi turned up?
Inter Milan, you said.
Into Miami, sorry.
Okay.
Guess what time he turned up?
Like 6 a.m, something like that. Something stupid, yeah.
There's only one member of staff even working at that time. Training was at like 12.
Yeah.
He came in and was just working. And that shows, I'm sorry. Obviously, it's not mentioned as much because you don't need to mention it. When you watch Messi, it doesn't matter about the hard work. You can see he's the greatest.
No, he's very humble. He's very good and humble.
No, I just think he's... No disrespect, I think he's just autistic. Have you seen the compilations of him? He is 100.
Yes, we always speak about that. We watch them together. But I think that he's very dedicated, and there are very few players in 2024 that do that.
He's not a person who has to come out and say, "Oh wow, look at what I'm doing." He says, "Look at what I do on the pitch." That speaks for itself, and that's phenomenal. Great player. There'll never be another Messi. Anyway, but Nottingham Forest, well done. They're doing a fantastic job. Nuno Espirito Santos is showing that yes, Spurs was just a hiccup. Who can do a good job at Spurs? Who can? And he's coming out and he's doing fantastic for Forest.
Forest, which have been promoted a couple of years ago once again.
Congratulations on the Forest ownership group from stealing Edu from Arsenal. As
Let's give them a round of applause for that.
I'm not giving a round of applause for that.
I am.
Obviously, they took Arsenal's sporting football person, sporting director, because he wanted to move up to more of a CEO role, and they offered him 3 times the amount of money Arsenal were going to offer him.
Who wouldn't?
And at a higher position.
Who wouldn't?
So he moved on. So well done, and well done to Forest, because now you've got somebody who has proven that he knows what's going on with transfers, football, that sort of jazz.
But let's talk about West Ham for a second. They are
terrible.
Disappointing even more. I don't know.
Lopetegui has to be sacked.
Yes.
He has to.
Yes. No. I completely agree.
He is
completely
the wrong fit. I'll let you search up what you're searching up.
I'm just looking at the match. That's it. I don't know.
He's the wrong fit.
It's the wrong fit. Yes, and it's just very dreadful to watch them playing, and I think it's too early to speak about relegation zone for them, but
they're 14th in the table. Don't get me wrong, they look like they're going to finish bottom half of the table. However, this West Ham team just gave up David Moyes for doing, in my opinion, a better job. So it's like, you can't bring David Moyes back in because you've done that before. You have to go out on a limb, but you have to bring in the right manager for the players you've got. This manager is not right. I keep on mentioning, I know Fulkrug's injured anyway, I'm pretty sure. Or was he back again? Because I think he was back for the last match.
Yeah, but he hasn't played enough. He's only played a couple of matches, and that's it.
I think he's injured again. That's my assumption.
Is that his?
Yeah, he's injured. His Achilles tendon. But my issue is, you've got players like Fulkrug, you've got Mikel Antonio, you've got these big players. Sometimes play Brexit ball. Learn to hoof it long and get it sorted. That's what Forest are doing. Like, they're playing good football too, but they've got Chris Wood up there. They know, you know what, we can play some decent football, but our striker is F it. We've got Chris Wood up there somewhere. Smack it long, son. And they're getting results.
No, it's just dreadful. Again, how they last season or 2 seasons ago when they were playing in Europe. They were just phenomenal. They were you wouldn't expect them to do this.
They were good in Europe. They were good in Europe, but they were doing not too good in the Prem.
Yeah, but still, you see that they are good in Europe. Exactly. But I don't think that with this team and with this manager, they wouldn't.
They'd be bummed.
Exactly.
They'd be bummed by some random Slovakian team which have a train flying through their pitch, and they'll get bummed by them. And this is, for me, it's completely down to the manager. David Moyes is so underrated as a manager because he comes in, he doesn't play the greatest football, he might not get the greatest results, but he won West Ham their first ever European trophy.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter that it's
which
a
is
massive.
League,
but that's massive for their club. Massive.
Who would be a good fit for this team then?
You know who I'd actually call in?
Ten Hag, not just joking.
No, you know who I'd call in? I'd wait till the end of the season and I'd try and get Gary O'Neill. Because apparently there's some Wolves fan who I think are unhappy. So
why would you be unhappy with Gary O'Neill? But that's understandable.
I mean, it's more about the entire situation. I think some fans are just deluded, but I think overall they're quite happy because realistically, Wolves are a great team.
It's very unfortunate at the moment.
Yeah, they don't have the money coming in. They're flying off scraps, and I would love them to stay up so much. They are my underdogs of the season. I want them to stay up. If they beat Arsenal, I'll be raging. But but I want them to stay up so badly because I just think
they probably won't. But
I just think about the story.
Let's hope they do.
This young English exciting manager he's going at relegation club to relegation club. He's trying to prove himself, and then he's coming through. You see him performing well. He's getting some results from his team. He gets no funding whatsoever. And then he's like, I want to keep this team up. He regiments them. He's coming and telling them, you need to do this, you need to do that. Okay, let's do it. Creating a sense of togetherness and getting some results, man.
Yeah,
good stuff.
I think it's a good
great fit. Great story if that happens. But I think if you get Gary O'Neill to West Ham,
they will get back into
because
good football, playing good football, and maybe like back in Europe again.
Because the thing with Gary O'Neill is, which I love, which this job at Wolves has proven he can do, he can adapt to the players he's got. Wow. That to have that in your repertoire as a manager is unreal. There's some world-class managers who don't have that.
Why are you skipping ahead with Gary O'Neill, by the way?
I'm sorry, I just like talking about him.
Oh, really? Because you just told me, oh, no, you're spoiling it for everybody.
I'm not talking about the match which has happened.
Yeah, okay, but he's managing Wolves, which we're going to talk about in a second.
I'm sorry, I get off track a bit sometimes.
Ah, really? I do too, but I don't make a fuss about it. So, talking about the match, who are we giving our round of applause before we keep talking about Gary O'Neill?
I mean, I'm tempted. I know Cam Hudson-Odoi got man of the match. I'm tempted to give it to Chris Wood because he's just been scoring goals in the past few matches.
I thought we could give it to the Forest manager.
Ooh, you know, I'd be happy with that.
A round of applause.
Just well done to Forest. You're doing a phenomenal job. Honestly, I'm.
Pedro Silva, yeah.
Huh?
The manager. Let's give it.
Nuno Espirito Santos. Huh? Was Nuno touchline banned? Because I know Forest manager is not him. I'll take that for a fact right now.
I'm a bit confused.
He might have been touchline banned or ill. I'm not sure.
But anyway, let's
Nuno.
Nuno,
okay. Well done. What a manager! What a person too. They did some really good PR for him in the week, and I fell victim to it. I like him now.
Right, let's touch very quickly onto like the two matches in the relegation zone, which are Southampton, Everton, and Wolves, Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I mean Southampton, well done getting a result.
Guys.
You needed that result. You needed it
Everton,
desperately.
Everton is just
crap.
They are gonna get relegated. I'm sorry.
They're going back and forth.
They're going to get
out
relegated.
The relegation zone at the moment. But they need to like.
It's the exact same thing that we spoke about Forest. Oh, they're in third position now, but will they actually keep it? It's the same thing with Everton. They're going to go down. But they are going to go
every
down.
season people say this, and it doesn't happen. So for me, I don't know.
So the dream will be for them to go down and for Wolves to stay up.
Not necessarily. I'd prefer if they both stayed up. But if it's between the two of them,
you would want Everton.
I'm sorry to my brother who's an Evertonian. But I would prefer Wolves to stay up.
Same.
Based off of just Gary O'Neill, and I just think the story.
No, I think that Wolves again. It's a really good team. Like we just.
But it's nowhere near as historic as an Everton. Nowhere near.
Exactly. So you want the actual underdog to perform better.
Exactly.
You know, like.
But I would love to see Everton get back to their glory days and be like the Europa League team, which they were. But they were getting Champions League, Europa League when I was like younger.
Yeah, I remember.
They were a great team. Leighton Baines just banging them. You know what I mean? They had good players, but
I wasn't much into English football at that time.
It shows what happens with your ownership. Couple crap owners, and you just go into the dumps. But well done, Southampton, finally getting a result. And Armstrong with his first.
They
goal
won
this season.
2 in a row.
Have they won 2 in a row? Who did they beat?
They won last match, I think.
Was that in the EFL Cup or was that in the Prem? No, they lost against City. It was just 1-0 though, so it was a decent result for them.
Yeah. No, I promise you they won something. Yeah, no, probably they've won against Stoke.
He was looking at it. It was all just red. It was like a sea of red and grey.
I think. Never mind. That's fine. Yeah. So they finally won.
Yeah.
Well done, guys. Well done. And Ramsdale getting the player of the match as well.
Yeah. Well done, Rambo.
Well done. But Wolves, Crystal Palace.
Are we going to give him a round of applause?
Oh yeah, true. That's for Ramsdale,
Next.
by the way. Wolves, Crystal Palace, 2-2.
Honestly, I was watching this match and I just came off of a night shift. No, I was just about to go on to a night shift, so I was knackered. I was like, I need to have a nap, and I fell asleep for basically most of the first half, and I woke up and that's when the goal started, and I was very happy. Very happy they waited for me to wake up.
I didn't watch the match, but I saw the highlights and all the goals in the second half, which is good to see. It was like
very
a back and forth.
It
was Crystal Palace scored, then Wolves scored, then another goal from Wolves, and then equaliser from Crystal Palace. Very, very good.
I think both these teams demonstrated reasons why they can stay in the league. They showed tenacity. They showed that fight. that a team has to have if they're going to stay up.
But I think that all teams that are in the relegation zone are actually showing it, that they're like fighting for it.
Oh yeah,
All of them except for Everton.
I don't know what he's got against Everton. I don't know it. I'm sorry, any Evertonians watching. I've got nothing against
I don't
you.
have anything against them.
He does.
I just
He definitely
think
does.
that they're not as good.
He hates Everton.
I don't hate anybody. I dislike some
So you
people.
dislike Everton?
No, I don't dislike them. I'm just saying that they're playing poorly. I can tell you what teams I dislike.
Fair play. I mean,
Man United.
who would I describe as my man of the match for this match, though? Looking at the lineups.
Let's just give the round of applause to both teams because they've played.
No, we've got to pick a player here.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean.
You know what? I know who I'm going to pick. Mark Gahey, the captain. He scored the goal to equalise it and to secure his team needed points. His celebration was good, and he led by example, and I love that. I
would have given it to Gomez for Wolves.
Yeah, just because he got man of the match.
Yeah, and
I'd have given it to Gahey. So
Okay,
I'm giving it to Gahey.
I give it to Gomez.
Well done, Gahey. You got what you deserved, even if Giorgio tries to rob you.
Right,
On to the Sunday. Some big matches. some
Tottenham,
good
Aston
matches.
Villa. Oh my gosh, this was.
I'm so
actually-
glad I didn't watch it.
It was a really good match.
I'm so
Really,
glad.
really good. I was watching it with Pa again, and Aston Villa scored, and I was like, "Oh yeah, they're gonna win." And he was like, "No, that's fine. Like, I think the Tottenham will equalise it." Boom, 4 goals.
It's one of those. For me, I look at this match and yeah, Villa, they got the first goal and everything, and it's like, okay, well done. But Spurs to come back like that, especially after, I think they've had a bit of a difficult run in the Prem. I think they lost their last Premier League match, didn't they? Yeah, they lost it to what's it called, Crystal Palace 1-0.
Crystal Palace.
So it's their form's been a bit up and down. Obviously, they beat City in the Carabao Cup, which would have given them a boost. But going 1-0 down, the heads might have dropped. But the man who we were speaking about earlier, who we can finally talk about,
yes.
Solanke, coming out with a performance. And up until this point, I think now there's sort of levels kind of being set for Solanke. Solanke needs to be registering on that score sheet most weeks.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal.
justify.
When I was watching the match, he scored the first goal, and I thought there's gonna be at least another
Brendan
one.
Johnson scored the first goal.
No, he scored his first goal because. he scored two.
Okay.
No,
I
no,
said
no.
scored the first goal. I was
his
like,
first goal. Sorry, he scored his first goal, and I was like, he's got another one. 4 minutes, boom, another. Really easy tap in, like was really good. But both goals are phenomenal. Like the performance has been phenomenal. Madison, last minute scoring, just like it shows you like they
keep on
they're
going.
hungry for it.
Yeah.
And I've spoken about Son and how much I like him. Daniel doesn't, but I like the player. He's been poor. He's been really poor, and I don't think he's the man for Tottenham anymore.
He's showing his age. It's one of those. He's getting older. It's expected with players. The older you get, you struggle a little bit, especially when it's new managers, different systems, and it's one of those. It's going to happen. It's natural. But for me, I think the big thing with this match is this is something which Spurs lack a lot of the time, and especially when it matters, is that bite back. If they go 1-0 down, often you see Spurs and they're just, okay, I guess it's not our day then. Guess we have to wait until the next 20 years until we get a trophy. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Show a bit of fight, show a bit of bite, show a bit of, no, this is me. I'm winning this.
Yeah, they're showing it. And I think if they keep playing like this, they might win that Europa League. Like,
No.
They're
not winning the Europa
I'm
League.
not confident
If they play
that they're
like-
going to do it. But I will
If they play like this,
think
they'll win the
about it.
EFL Cup. They have a chance.
Uh,
They have a chance of winning the Carabao Cup.
But
Not
it's
the
not as
Europa League.
exciting, like I want them to win something bigger.
I don't.
I know you don't, but like be a lover for football in general, not just about your team.
Yeah, a football lover in general. Tottenham.
Arsenal play in Champions League. If they go down to Europa League, then yes, you want them to win
No,
Europa League.
genuinely, as a lover of football. So I'm sorry we're derailing a little bit here, but it seems like it's topical. As a lover of football, Spurs should not win a trophy. My reason behind this is, to win a trophy, you have to have a certain level of desire, hunger, and you have to show a cutting, winning edge. Spurs never show
You
that.
literally just said that they're starting to show it.
No, I'm saying they're showing a bit of bite back, which is one of
so
the
it's the
fundamentals.
beginning of something.
It's one of
It's
the fundamentals.
It's
but
the beginning of
we've
something.
seen Spurs teams have a little bit of fight back in the past, and then it just fades away.
Yeah, but maybe this is the time that actually.
No,
Do you know what?
this is a one-off match against Aston Villa. If they really had developed bite back, they would have developed it against Crystal Palace, who are in the relegation fight, and they'd have beat Crystal Palace, but they didn't. It's a one-off match. Yeah, they showed a good thing, and they need to keep up consistency if they want to get better. However, Tottenham, even though they won this week, and I know Arsenal lost, so if you want to have fun, go for it, Tottenham fans, but still, where's your trophies? And they're not going to win anything, because I'm telling you this right now, and I promise you, Andrew will leave and he will hate Spurs. He won't have won a single trophy. He'll be very angry when he leaves, because he'll leave, Tottenham fans will have turned on him, and he'll be like, well, what do you expect me to do?
Mm-hmm.
Because did you not see the Brighton result which they had when they got battered by Brighton this season?
Yes.
Remember when he spoke about how Andrew was fuming?
Yeah.
It's moments like that which get dressing rooms lost. If Andrew has a couple more moments like that, the dressing room's gone and he's gone too.
Well, we'll see. But now they won this match against Aston Villa. It was going to be a
Well
tough
done.
match.
Aston Villa are a good team. They're up and down. Don't get me wrong, Aston Villa, because
but they're
they've got
doing
too many matches.
Yeah, but they're doing very well for the form that they're at, as in playing Premier League, EFL Cup, and Champions League, which they haven't done in a while. And they're performing very well in Champions League. They're performing amazing in Champions League.
If they win tonight, they're top.
Yeah, I know. They were top last week.
Yeah, I know. But obviously, there's some matches have happened. And
so, yeah. Who are they playing tonight, actually?
I don't know.
Club Brugge.
They should be top.
They should win it, yeah. So, hopefully. But let's give Solanke a round of applause for this match, because he deserves it.
I'm going to give him a very quiet one, because he's a Spurs player. Oh, wow, Georgia showed some solidarity. He joined in with a very quiet clap.
Yeah, I didn't want my microphone just to pitch up. But last match, Man United, Chelsea.
All I want to say is, poor. This match, did you watch it?
Yeah, of course I watched it.
Oh, my word. The quality in this match was absolutely atrocious.
Absolutely, yeah.
City, terrible. Chelsea, poor.
It was
very bad, very bad. Don't get me wrong, I think Chelsea are... See, this is the reason why I think some people get carried away. Chelsea are on the right path. They're on the right pathway. They're on the way to being top four, that sort of stuff, and doing well. They're going to have stumbling blocks. But don't get ahead of yourself. Don't think you're going to turn up to Man United when they've got an interim manager. I know this is an Arsenal supporter because this happened to us. Don't turn up to them and just think, oh, it's going to be an easy match because somebody got sacked. This was what happened with Solskjaer, and when Carrick was in, they beat us. It's not easy.
It was very poor from Man United, but we've spoken about this for 11 weeks now, as in Man United is not performing very well. But you know, the moment that in that match there was a defining moment where like, you guys are crap, was when Garnacho had the ball on the left, right, and Casemiro cuts in and he just doesn't do anything. That would have been a goal. Like, for me, that would have been a goal. And Casemiro was fuming.
It's just the way I look at it is, when you look at those players, it's Rude can't do anything. You can see that as to like the changes. So it's this new manager, Amorim. We have to wait and see, because obviously we see he can do it at Portugal, but creating what he created at Sporting, great job by the way in doing that. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. It's a completely different ordeal doing it at Manchester United. Manchester United is a completely different stratosphere to a Sporting. So you've got to come in and you've got to be willing to make tough decisions. So in my opinion, he has to get rid of about... Let's have a look at that starting 11. And I'm not going to say the players because I don't want to be super negative, but I'll count... Just do
it
okay.
For the banter.
I'll say it for the banter. Got to get rid of Onana. Got to get rid of either Martinez or De Ligt. You've got to pick one of them. De Ligt
all day long. I hate the guy. No, I dislike. Sorry, I don't hate anybody.
For me, you've got to pick one of them because I think both of them are good, but neither of them are top level. And
but De Ligt has been underperforming since he's joined
any club. So for me, you've got to pick one of them because I think both of them are like decent. They could, if you partner up against with a world class centre back, they'd be fine. But you've got to pick one of them. I like Mazraoui, but I'd get rid of Dalot, I'd get rid of Casemiro, I'd get rid of Ugarte.
No, I wouldn't get rid of Casemiro. He's still got a little bit in him. He's got the experience.
Yeah, but my issue is they've got Casemiro, and the reason why I'm saying get rid of him is if he's there, he's going to be a starter, and he's not good enough to be a starter.
Then play him as a starter. Don't get rid of him. Play him as a starter.
If they had him as like a Jorginho character at Arsenal, plays the occasional match here there, he's good leadership
No,
in the
but what
background.
I'm saying, like,
that'd be
don't
good.
get rid of him. Playing him as a starter, like,
Why would you play him as a starter?
because he's still got.
He's
Quite
not
a
got
good
enough. If you look at
Just for this
Casemiro,
year. Just for
if
this
you look at
year.
Casemiro as the DM, any quick player runs straight past him and he gets absolutely spun. He can't get back quick enough. He's not good enough. He's not got the level head. Like, you've got to understand, he doesn't set tempo in the midfield, because that wasn't him at Real Madrid either. He's not the right player in that midfield. Ugarte, not good enough either, in my opinion. We'll see what Amorim can do, because obviously he had him at Sporting and made him like burst onto the scene, so potential. Garnacho not good enough. Rashford not good enough. For Garnacho, I think you can have him as a bench player. Rotation.
I really
But
don't.
apart
like
from that,
the,
not good enough.
the guy.
Wow, this is going to sound really brutal because I've only kept like 2 players.
Who did you keep?
One of the centre backs and then Mazraoui. I think Mazraoui's good. I'd get rid of Bruno
What about
Fernandes.
Højlund?
I'd get rid of Højlund in a heartbeat. He's shown he's not good enough. Flop. Huge flop. So Xerxes.
Yeah, but look at the bench then. Who would you keep?
That's another issue. Off the bench, I'd keep Ahmad.
Anthony!
I'd keep Ahmad. He's shown hot flashes. I'd give him a chance, see what he's up to. Get rid of Lindelof, get rid of Xerxes. I know he's not even been there for a whole season, but for me, maybe play, maybe see what he's good. Obviously, new manager might be different. I don't even know who that other keeper is, so get rid of him. Amas, don't even know who he is, get rid of him. Evans, you have to get rid of him. It's embarrassing that he's still there. You got Fletcher, Fitzgerald, and Wheatley, who were all like just youth kids, so I don't know if they're any good or not, but probably not considering they're not playing. But then injured, you've got Ericsson, get rid of him. Mount, I would say get rid of him.
No,
He's
Mount.
been crap at Manchester United. And
Yeah,
his
but
last
give him
season
a
at Chelsea
chance,
was also
like-
crap. You've got to understand where you are as a football club. Manchester United are not a club which is rebuilding and redefining players who have flopped. They're ruining players who are good.
Right now, you only kept 2 players. How can somebody rebuild a team with only 2 players?
Because there's stages to it. Look at Arteta with his first 11 for Arsenal. How many players stayed? How many players? Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, okay.
That's it. Oh no, and Martinelli, sorry. Martinelli was also in the squad. 2 players, that's it. I said 2 players for this.
Fair enough.
And I think it's one of those, it's not like I'm saying get rid of all these players immediately. There's gradualness like to it. Obviously getting rid of a player like a Casemiro or a Rashford, I'd say is more prevalent than getting rid of a Bruno Fernandes. Oh, Anthony has to be gone. He has to be. I know there's
He doesn't
jokes
even
about him
have
being
to
the
play
GOAT.
football. Like, he
he's
just
terrible.
changed sport.
He's terrible.
Completely.
He's terrible. Like, no, I think he's shown he's good in like an Amsterdam league. So just sounds like some rubbish league and he'll do all right. You know what I mean?
But no, it wasn't even spectacular. Like, everybody.
But he was good. He was starting week in, week out for Ajax and winning leagues. He has to be good. Let's be real.
I don't know.
But for me, I just look at it, I just think you have to get rid of a lot of those players in there because a lot of them are dead weight and not good enough.
Fair enough.
So I'd keep Cobby, see if he's able to keep up his form from last season because he wasn't very good this season before he got injured. So you have to wait and see. But Ruben Amorim's got a huge job. And you know what's really frustrating me? There's a lot of Man United fans now talking about Victor Gyökeres.
But Arsenal.
He's no. So Victor Gyökeres is a phenomenal player, and he will go to an elite club. Manchester United, if he goes there,
he's going to be ruined.
Fair play, but why on earth do you think he would go to your club? Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, and City are all interested. Why on earth would he pick your club over any of those?
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, if he goes to Man United, then his career is going to be ruined.
All of those clubs look like they're going to be playing Champions League football next season, and they're getting
and he's
better
already
and
playing
better.
Champions League anyway. So
Exactly. It's like, why would he go to a Europa League team? Yeah, there's old managers there. Don't get me wrong, but all of the managers at the other clubs, you could probably say
as of right now,
Enzo
he's not
Maresca.
even playing in the Conference League if he joins Man United. Like,
Well, it's like you look at it, right? Pep Guardiola, greatest manager of all time if he stays. Well, not the greatest manager of all time, but in the debate for it.
Yes.
I disagree. But he's definitely in the debate for the greatest manager of all time, which is in itself
And I'm saying
phenomenal.
that for me, he's the greatest manager of all time.
Okay.
Even before Mourinho. Like,
Okay. And for me, that means that's a huge attraction. Yeah, Haaland's there, so it kind of detracts from it a little bit. You've got Arsenal, who need a striker, who are challenging for the title. If you go to them, there's a high probability you're going to win the Premier League. because we're a team that challenges for the Prem. Main thing we're missing out on is goals and a striker up top, and he's proven he can do that. He's proven he can do link-up plays, runs as good, everything. So if he goes there, he's got a high probability that he's going to win the Prem. Liverpool, they need a striker because they've got no striker. They've got Darwizzy starting up top, who's crap.
Oh my god!
If you go in there,
the only one that is scoring goals at the moment is Salah,
But the only thing I'd say is with Liverpool, I don't know. You see a couple players with Liverpool, but you don't see many players, even historically, who when they reach their peak stay at Liverpool. Like what's it called? Gerrard stayed, Salah stayed, but Mane left, Firmino left, Coutinho left, Suarez left. Like I don't know. For me, obviously,
what a throwback.
Obviously, when you look like super far back, obviously there will be people who stayed. But for me, I don't know. And then you've got Chelsea, who similar to Arsenal, desperately need a striker, and if he comes in, he will be the dog's balls. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Nicholas Jackson will be licking his feet as he walks into training, and that'll be Nicholas Jackson's job for the rest of his life.
But let's hope that he goes to Arsenal.
I'm praying he goes to Arsenal, but that's if we make a deal, because apparently he's got a 100 mil release clause. Don't get me wrong, if he does go to United, fair play, and I think there's a chance that he'll do well at United, but that doesn't mean United will do well. That's my big thing.
Oh, deep.
Well, it's true. You can still be scoring like 3 or 4 goals. Look at when Rashford did it in like that season when they got Champions League. He did well, but did United do well? No. There's only so long you can rely on individuals in a team.
Yeah.
And that's if Amorim even stays, because at the moment you look at the system he plays in: 3 at the back with the 4 in midfield with like wing backs basically. If those 2 sit back and he's having to defend for long periods of the matches, United fans will turn on him quick. If he doesn't get results, they'll be like, he's playing 5 at the back, it's boring football. He's a good manager and they should give him time. Genuinely give him time. He's proven what he can do. But the issue is Manchester United. They need to be smart with signing. They need to sell a lot of players. They can't do any more.
If they get the right manager, I'm pretty sure that this will happen at some point. It can be next month. Well, not next month, but like next transfer season. It can be in 5 years. I don't know. It will happen. It's a cycle that always happens.
It's just, for me, they can't do any more of this stupid spending like they did with Lenny Yoro. Lenny Yoro could be a phenomenal footballer. Don't get me wrong. He could be world class at some point. United fans have this sort of spin in their head of being like, oh yeah, but we beat Real Madrid for him. No, Real Madrid said we're not paying 40 million for him. United paid 60.
Yeah.
That's all I've got to say. It's like, if you're overpaying for young players, you can't be doing that. If you're going in for young players, you have to spend, and you have to know, this is how much I'm willing to spend. I'm not spending any more on this. With Lenny Yoro, is he ready to come into that squad and perform week in, week out in the Prem? We don't know. He got injured immediately, which already raises concerns of, is he injury prone?
Yeah, exactly.
So, for me, there's huge question marks over the heads of everybody in that recruitment department at Manchester United. And in my opinion, Ineos hasn't shown they're any better. So they need a manager to come in who's willing to just grab the bull by the horns and say, no, you're signing the players who I want to. And you need to believe in me, because what Ruben Amorim does is he's a tough player. They had 2, when he went to Sporting, they had 2 really big players. I can't remember the names of it. He went up to both of them and he went, hey, are you going to play wing back? In my system, I play 3 at the back with 2 wing backs. Are you going to play wing back for me? Because if not, you're not playing it. And they went, we're not playing wing back. And he went, all right, bye, and sold them. They're 2 like best players at the time. So he can come in and he knows he's got the balls to do stuff like that. He seems like a nice guy and everything, which is also an important thing to do, to be able to have that mix of serious but also nice. So I wish him all the best. Obviously not at Man United, but I wish him all the best. But I think it's like climbing Mount Everest. And I think this is the classic Man United cycle of, they bring a manager in, they might get some feel-good factor. All right, we'll keep him for a bit. All right, he doesn't really have enough time to settle in. We'll give him a bit more time. And it's Mount Everest for certain managers.
Well, let's pray then.
I'm not praying. Not for Man United.
Yeah.
I know it's a figure of speech, don't worry. I'm messing with you. But I'm not doing that for Man United. No chance.
Okay.
But cool. Chelsea, don't be disheartened by that result.
Now, Chelsea, you're doing very well. You're doing very well.
It's just going to happen
sometimes.
And,
they scored right after the penalty, which, if the penalty wouldn't have been given, Chelsea would have won the match.
I disagree.
No, I agree.
If that penalty wasn't given, Chelsea wouldn't have scored.
No, I think that they would have scored.
Yeah, that's my opinion, because the way I look at it is it was like a reaction to it, like, crap, we can't lose. Like,
you think that they were settling for a draw?
not intentionally, but I think they were.
Okay.
I think in their heads they were there and they're like, okay, well, I know where we are at the moment. Let's try and go for the win. But as the match is going on, they're like, oh, it might be fading away. But then when they concede that one goal, they're like, crap, we definitely can't lose. Yeah. And then once they got that goal back, you could see it's like they had that berserk rush to score. And then after they scored, they were then like, okay, let's like do what we were doing before. And then it's like, doing what you were doing before was getting you 0 goals. You know what I mean? Like,
no, but I think that they will. Yeah.
Also, can I just say, Cole Palmer, where are you? Because I was hearing all this stuff about Cole Palmer, and I said this.
What?
I was saying this. When the pressure's on, what'll happen? And because that pressure built up, he's not been scoring as much. He's not been as influential because it's not
but
just
it's
that.
It's only been one match, and that's
It's been a couple matches since we've said that. I promise.
No, he's played quite well the last match.
Let me check. Open your phone, please.
Sorry, guys. I don't know why my phone is doing this.
Okay.
It's the next one.
I'm trying to scroll that off. Okay, got to find a different way of getting Chelsea up because George's phone isn't working the greatest. Okay, so they lost
against Newcastle.
So they lost against Newcastle in the EFL Cup, but then they beat Newcastle. But before that, they lost to Liverpool. So my point is, it's even in that win, right? Palmer scored a goal and he played well, and we gave him his round of applause. But my point is before that he was turning up like week in and week out, scoring like 3, getting assists. He was getting man of the match, and I was saying, chill out. He's not that guy. He's not going to do that forever.
It's only been one match.
One match since what?
Since he did nothing because he scored the goal last.
Yeah,
match.
He scored a goal in the last match. But if you watch his performance all around isn't as influential as it has been because teams are noticing it. Teams are saying, okay, Cole Palmer likes to do this. Don't leave his hip, mate. Stay on him. And people are being tight to him now, so they know what he can do. He's got there's different level to how he can perform now because of the awareness about him. Even last season, people were seeing he was doing great performances and everything, but it was Chelsea, you know what I mean? You can still score a couple goals against him. If Cole Palmer scores 1, it's no biggie. You know what I mean?
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
So for me, it's more pressure.
Okay. What are we giving the round of applause? Nobody.
I don't even feel like anyone deserves it.
Let's do 2 seconds of silence. Okay. Well done, guys, for reaching the end of the video. Thank you again for watching us. It's been a pleasure to be here. 11 episodes. Many more to come.
Many more. And hopefully we'll see some more Arsenal wins. And by the end of the season, we'll have a little special edition. Arsenal winning the Premier League.
Ooh.
And there'll be 2 Arsenal shirts on there. I'll be in an Arsenal shirt. And
I might be in an Arsenal shirt.
I'll make sure the thumbnail is of that trophy with Arsenal. And I'll love every second.
Arsenal. But thank you for watching again. We'll see you next week, guys.
Make sure like, subscribe, follow the Instagram. That we also post on there when we release an episode. So
exactly. All the thumbnails are made by Daniel.
Thank you.
Piccolino.
I just make them pretty simply, as you can probably imagine. So
they're pretty good. But again, thank you for watching, guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.
See ya.